This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start today's session. In the last session, we were discuss about list data structure and its operations. In today's session, we'll continue with list data structure and its operation. Let me check what we covered in the last session. So we completed string and we are discussing about list only. So we just seen that list sort method. So sort method by default will arrange the list of items into ascending order. So let us consider this example. L is my list object and list values are 29837654. Actually, list order is not correct only. So if you want to sort this, by default, sort method will do what? Ascending order. In case if you want to do descending order, then we use an attribute called reverse order. So let's remove this reverse equals to true. Then by default, sort method will arrange the list items into ascending order. So here 29837654 and 2345678 like this only. In case if you want to do descending order, then we have to use what actually? Reverse equals to true only. So reverse equals to what? True. If I use reverse equals to true attribute, then it will arrange the list element into descending order. So descending order 98765432 only. This is list sort method we started in the last session here. Let's talk about copy method. Copy is one of the method in the list, but there are two types of copies are there. So I'll discuss clearly what type of copies are there here. So there are some deep copy and shallow copy methods are there. So let's try to discuss about copy method. Suppose we have created one list L, we are printing L only. So once I print this L, list copies, list is available here. Suppose if I try to do copy here, L1 equals to L. So I'm just assigning L value to L1 only. In general, whenever we assign value to the variable in Python, what you are going to assign that is available on the right side only. So which is on right side? L. This L is assigning to what? L1 only. So L1 is what? New list only. So print L1 empty. So already print L, this is original list, and L1 also I assigned all the list original list values, L values to what? L1 only. So once I use this L1 list values, now you can see we got second copy also there. So L1 equals to L, L1 I printed here. So once I use this, so we got two copies. First copy this one and second copy this one only. Okay? Yes. But this mechanism is shallow copy. Shallow copy means whenever we do changes on L1 copy, automatically it's affected on L copy. Same vice versa. When we do changes on L copy, automatically it will affect on L1 copy. So this type of copy is what copy? Shallow copy. For example, this L1 is also called as what? Alias name. Alias name in the sense we can give other name to a list L. L is my list name, but I'm just giving other name to a list only. What is other name? L1. L1 is another other name to a list. So let's run this one. We got two copies here, but this is not original copy. It's a shallow copy only. Shallow copy means whenever we do changes on L1 list or whenever we do changes on N list, remaining list will be affected. For example, if I try to do changes on L1 list, suppose L dot remove. Remove method is there already. So 9 element is removed from L. When we try to print L and when we try to print L1, so that remove method can be applicable both list only. I am trying to remove 9 value from which list? L list. but it's going to remove on L1 list also. Both lists are going to affect that. This type of copy is called shallow copy. Look at here. Original list L1, L or both are same. But after when I do changes, 9 element removed from L list, it's also impact on L1 or not? Yes. This type of copy is what copy? Shallow copy. But there is one more copy is there that is called deep copy. So look at here, there is a copy method is there. This copy method you have to use it. So in case if I try to do this copy method, now this time it's considered as called deep copy only. Means L1 is separate list which is not at all related to L. You are doing changes on L. Means you remove 9 element from L only. It's not going to remove from L1. It's called deep copy, we can say that. Look at here, 9 is gone from L, but 9 is still available on L1. This is called what? Deep copy. If I don't use this copy method, this is called shallow copy. Meaning is what? This L list I just assigned to another list L1. This is called alias name. What is alias name? L1 is alias name. Alias name in the sense other name of list. This is called alias name only. Here L1 is act as a alias name. L is act as a original name. But in this case, whatever you do changes on L and whatever you do changes on L1, both list can affect here. So look at here, I changed 9 removed from L, but it's also removed from L1. But when we go for copy method here, this is called deep copy. These two lists are separate list. L is separate, L1 is separate. So once I do changes here, other list will not impact because L1 is completely new list it is considered, which is taking the values from L also, but it's considered new list only. If we do changes on L, it's not going to affect on L1 only. See here, 9 value is removed from L, but it's not removed from L1 only. Still it is there, but it's gone from L only. This is called difference between deep copy and shallow copy. So this is a copy method of list object only. And there are two methods are there in the list context, that is count and index only. Count is a simple, it is used to get count of numbers. Means how many number of occurrences are present in the list, then count will return count only. Suppose we have a list. In that list, some values are repeatedly available. How many times repeatedly available if you want to know? Then we use what function? Count function. Simple. Let's create one quick list making some values here. I'm creating one list here with the duplicate elements. 10 equals L equals to 10, 10 again, 10 again, 20 like this, 10, 20 duplicate values I'm preparing. 10 is there, 20 is there, and 30 also there. So here 10 value repeatedly occurred many times, but how many times it's occurred repeatedly, I want to know that. So we can apply L dot count of what value are checking, 10 value. So how many times 10 is repeated, you can see it will return clearly. How many times it repeated? 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times repeated 10 value. Count function will return the count of the value, how many number of times repeatedly occurred in list only. But there is one more method is there in the context of list, index method. Index means what? It return index of an item or index of an element. So you have to supply the element. That element is present on which index it will be appear. Suppose I'm trying to find index method here. Index here. Index of 10. So 10 value, which is the index what? 0 index. So let's run this one. Now you can see 0 index only. You may get doubt. So 10 values are repeatedly there here like this. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 like this. But still How we are getting 0 only? Because first occurrence of the index only. Suppose if I try to say 20 value, where 20 values present in my list, 0 index, 1 index, 2 index. So now this time we can see 2 index is what? 20 only. 20 is present on second index only. So index method will return index of the value. Count method will return how many number of times repeatedly there your value in the list only. These two methods are built-in methods of the list context. And we just create a list up to now by taking L is variable equals to square bracket, some values are given. But how to create a list from user input values? Means you have to accept values from the user, and according to that you have to create the list only. How to accept values from the user for creating list only? So in that context, I'm telling you, I need to create first of all empty list only. Empty list means what? List with no elements. But how we can enter elements? So you have to accept the elements here. Suppose item 1, list is having list of items. Item 1, integer type, I am inputting here. Int of input of enter int value only. Int value. Next, item 2 equals to string type I want to enter. That's what I'm directly taking input value. Enter string value I'm asking just from the user. Enter string value. Next, item 3 equals to float of input of enter float value. What value I'm taking? Float value. Now you can see enter float value. It's spelling mistake. Just adjust. So 3 values I'm accepting from the user, and each and every value, first value integer value stored into item 1, string value stored into item 2, float value stored into item 3. These items I need to add to the list. We discussed already in my previous examples. If you want to add a single value at once to the list, we use what method? Append method. So right now, L is a list. It's having empty list. So for that empty list, we have to append that values. How to append the values? Item 1. Append method is accept only one item to append. Already we discussed in my previous sessions. Only one value if you want to add to the list, then we can use what actually? Append method only. Item 3 like. Finally, we are printing what? List only. So let's try to print L. So this is list object. Let's run this. We are giving list object. Enter integer value 10. Enter string value Durga. Enter float value 34.5. We got the values here. 10 Durga 34.5 clearly. Got my point? But this is not good requirement, because if you ask 10 values, 10 times I have to store the values into variables, and that variables 10 times I have to use. And even moreover, you can use extend method also. In the last session, we discussed extend method can be have the iterable statements like item 1 in the square bracket, item 2, again in the square bracket, item 3 here, item 3. Okay, item 3. So extend method is used to accept multiple values from the user, and it will add directly any number of values to the list only. So this is the difference between extend method, append method in the last session, what we discussed. Integer value I'm taking 20, string value I'm taking psi, and float value I'm taking like 67.32. We got this values clearly. But even still, this is not good requirement, sir, because we just create an empty list. We are asking keep on item 1, item 2, item 3, and so on. But instead of this, asking every time separate values, why don't we ask to the user its length? Means user can decide the length of the list only. So let's ask input value from the user. Int of input of enter length of the list only. Length of the list means what? User can decide how much length he wants to enter for the list values. How many elements? For example, my input is 5. That means I decided that 5 elements I want to store into list only. So n is a number of elements. So according to this n variable, we have to iterate. We have to keep on accepting value from the user. So for I in range of n sir. Suppose my input is 5. That range will store into n variable or not. Range will start from by default what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the range of values. Every time I'm going to accept what? Actually print only. But for example, let's accept values here. We have to accept value at runtime. Int of input of enter a value. So user will ask to the user to enter the value. So we are asking to the user to enter a value. For every iteration, user keep on enter a value. That value will stored into a x value. X should be appended to the L. L is empty list. So L dot append of what? X only. Finally, after appending each and every value out of the loop, we are printing what result? What is the result? L only. Print L. That's all. So look at here. Initially, I'm taking L is my list object. It's an empty list. There is no elements are available in the list. But for this list, how many values user need to enter for this list? I'm accepting from the user input only. So user can decide how many number of elements he wants to enter for the list. So that's stored into n. And for I in range of n. For example, my input is 5. Range starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And every time when we insert the value, enter value, first number will goes to x. X will be what? 0 index. Next iteration, when we enter second value, that will store into 1 index. So let's keep on appending that x value to the L index wise, and finally we are printing L only. Let's run this, and we are taking length of the list 5, and first element is stored into 0 index, second element stored into 1 index, third element stored into 2 index, fourth element stored into like this. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 like this. Got my point? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. These are the values. So this is exactly requirement when we can create array, we can create list by accepting length at runtime. According to that length, we are iterating them, and one by one value accepting at runtime, that value stored into x. X value is appending to the L only. Sir, what happened if I'm printing this L under the loop only? Means for loop inside only. See, if you print this list values under the loop, every value, whatever we insert, that value is going to be print immediately. Suppose my input is length of the list is 5. First value I entered. First value through list is created. Second value I entered. Again, second value through list is created. That means first, second, third. All the values through list is created or not? It's clearly list is created, sir. But I don't want to do like this. Even third value if I entered, 3 values list is created. Fourth value, fifth value, sixth value, like this. So it's keep on creating like. But I don't want to create for single element, 2 element, 3 element like this. After completion of loop iteration, I have to print values at runtime. Finally, print L. So outside the loop I'm using. So user can decide how many values he wants to enter. Length is 4. So 4 values only we have to accept here. 20, 10, 60, 70, like this. 4 values are accepted here. 20, 10, 60, 70. Okay. So this is what accepting list length at runtime according to the given length, and we have to read the input values from the user. We are reading input values from the user and store them into which format, which variable, x variable, and immediately that x variable I am assigning to what? L only. That is for list object now. So this is accepting values at runtime for the list only clearly. Okay. So creating list using range function also possible. How to create list using range function, we'll see this. It's very simple. In the one line statements only we can finish that. Print list of range of 10. You can create a list by using what function? Range function. So list I'm converting range value starts from 0, 0 to what actually? 9 only, up to 9, including up to 10, including 9. So this is list creation by using what function? Range function clearly. So these are all list functionalities what we discussed. So let's check it once we cross verify whether I discuss all the list of items or not. How do we know that? Simple. dir is a built-in function of list is a list object only. Print dir of list list only. So once I try to run this, now you can see we are getting list of functionalities. So we discussed already append method, clear method, copy method, count method, extend method, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort. All methods we discussed clearly. So this is the most important data structure in Python. According to Python, it's most important data structure. That is what? List only. But other data structures, I am not saying that that is not important, but that's also important. But flexibility is more there in list only, because we can add the list of items, we can delete the list values, and we can delete entire the list. All the possibilities are there in the list context only, because it is list is immutable object only. Immutable means we can do modification clearly here. Okay, so this is list, and next we need to discuss about tuple. Tuple is almost all same as list only. That's what here I'm not going to discuss common functions which already discussed in the context of string and list in this case. So what is tuple means? Tuple is ordered collection of elements, same as list, no change. How to create a tuple means we can create a tuple with what brackets? Round brackets. Even while creating tuple, brackets are optional. If you don't give any collection with brackets, by default that will be treated as what? Tuple only. For example, this is list only. I created list here. Suppose we can say L equals to list can be created by using what? Square bracket only. If I try to create a list of values like this, print L, it's a list only. Print L and print what? Type of L. What type it is? List type only. If I don't mention any bracket here, you can see I'm not giving any brackets here. It doesn't mean that because of your providing list name is L, it's a list. No, it's what? Tuple now. So while creating tuple in Python, so there is no brackets are required. By default, when we don't take any brackets, it treated as what? Tuple only. So that is one. So how to create tuple means creating tuple by using round brackets. So brackets are optional for tuple creation. And tuple and list is almost the same. But only the difference is what you know. List is mutable object. That means we can do any changes on list. But whereas tuple is immutable object, we can't do any changes. For example, you can see I'm trying to create a tuple here with round brackets. Let's give that T is the tuple. This meaningful name I'm giving, T for tuple. And here also I'm trying to take T, and after that here time T, print type of T. Type of what? T1. So here you can see round brackets and round brackets. It's a tuple type only. So, okay. Yeah. Now, tuple is immutable. T of 1, just observe here, T of 1 equals to 44. Print T. So generally, this is going to happen for list only. We can assign a value to the list because list is mutable object. But when it comes to tuple, tuple is immutable. We can't assign any value. We can't delete any value. You can see this type error we got. That indicates what? Tuple object does not support item assignment because it is a immutable. If it, in case it is a list, it is going to be assigned. For example, you can see if I try to give the square bracket, it's a list only. List is having clearly assignment or not? Yes. It's assigned value 44 at what index? One index. In one index, what value is there? 20 value is there. In place of 20, 44 assigned or not? Because of just square bracket. It's create a square bracket represent always list only. But when it comes to round brackets, you can see I'm giving round brackets here. But round brackets is going to be takes place what? Tuple. But tuple, is there any assignment operator or any changes? No changes. Tuple object does not support any assignment. So it is called immutable object. This is the main difference between tuple and list. List is mutable. We can change any value at any point of time. Even we can delete the value from the list. But whereas tuple is immutable object, that means we can't assign, we can't delete anything. But deleting entire the tuple is possible. You can't delete one value, you can't add one value, you can't remove multiple values, you can't add multiple values, but you can delete entire the tuple is possible. How it is? Del space T. So tuple gets deleted completely along with its definition. How do you know whether it's deleted or not? Let's try to access again tuple print T. So you'll get error. Because line number 6, you delete a tuple object, but line number 7, still you are trying to access the tuple object like T. But once you delete it, how we can access? It's not possible. So that's what we got it. Name T is not defined. Okay. So though tuple is immutable object, we can able to delete entire the tuple, not few elements. And as we discussed in my previous example, if you want to create a tuple with single element, compulsory after single element, we must and should provide what? Comma symbol. If we don't provide any comma symbol after single element, it won't treat it as a tuple, sir. For example, I'm trying to create a tuple with single element by giving integer 10, but it's look like what? Integer only. It's not a tuple. But when I try to give comma symbol, then now this time you can see it's going to be treated as what? Tuple only. So this is exclusively only for tuples, sir. To create a tuple with single element, after element you must and should provide comma symbol. But to create a tuple with to create a list with single element, no need to provide any comma symbol. Directly it's possible to create a list with single element. So only this option for tuples are to create a tuple with single element. Compulsory we have to give comma symbol. Otherwise, it will treat this value data type. Here, int is a 10 is an integer returning. Suppose here I'm taking some value like Mohan. Mohan is what value? String value. String value is going to be written or not? Yes, it's a string. But when I give this comma symbol, it's going to be treated as what? Tuple only. So this is tuple. Tuple and list almost all same. Small changes are there. And accessing elements from tuple is same as this list only. We can access elements from tuple through index, like 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, and so on. If you want to access tuple elements from negative index, it starts from -1, that is right to left. For example, we have a tuple with a lot of elements like 10, 20, 30, 40. If I try to access one of the value, tuple value, then how we can access print T of 2? 2 index, what is there? 0 index, 1 index, 2 index. That is what 20 elements are there here. 20 element is available. So this is tuple indexing. Tuple slicing also common. Tuple slicing means 1:3 means 1, 2. 1 index, 2 index values. 1 index, 2 index values means 10, 20 will be displayed here. So this is tuple slicing. Same, almost all same. No changes. But some changes are there. Tuple concatenation, multiplication is same. Deleting a tuple is entered the possible. And tuple methods also common for list. Just now we discussed about count and index methods related to list only. But here also when it comes to tuple, count method is used to count number of occurrences, and whereas index method is used to represent your element is present on which index. Let's quickly do this example. I'm trying to say count function. I want to know that how many times a 10 value repeated in my list in my tuple t dot count of 10. So how many times repeatedly there 10 in your tuple? Only one time, because 110 only there. If we have other 10, then result will be what? 2 times, because 10 is located in the tuple T 2 times. So 2 is returning. So count is used to find number of occurrences, and whereas index is used to find index of the value. But your value is there 10, in which index is there? One index, because zero index already the word is there like Mohan. One index, what is that? 10 is there. So one index is written. Index is used to return the value of the index. Whatever you provide the value, where it is available, it's going to be written here. This is count and index. Same methods we discuss here. Count and index in the list context also. But same methods are present on tuple. But other than this, you can see tuple membership test is there. Even you can do list membership test also. Already we discussed membership test. Okay, membership operators. What are the membership operators? In, not in. These two are membership operators. And in, not in returns true if the value is correct. Otherwise, it returns simply false. So let's apply the membership operator on tuple only. So to apply the membership operator on tuple, let me check that 10 in T. Do you have a 10 value in tuple T like this? Yes, we have a 10, no? So obviously it return what's a true only. Suppose 100 in T. Do you have 100 value in T? No, it's written what? False. Suppose 100 not in T. Yes, 100 really not in T only, sir. That's what it written what? True only. So like this. So in, not in. Membership operators, we can do this. But other than this tuple membership operators, we can apply this functionality like length, max, min, sum. See here, length function is the very common function which we can apply on every data structure in Python. So length of string, length of tuple, length of dictionary, length of set, length of list, all the length we can apply by using length function. Even max, min, sum functions also very common to apply every data structure in Python. So whatever I selected like length, max, min, sum, all are methods, built-in methods. These moreover we can say called aggregate functions. Let's try to find out length of the tuple. But length will work with any data structure, but max, min, max, min, sum will work only on number system only. Look at here, max, minimum, sum. These all going to work with number system only. But length will work with any ways. So just for finding the number of elements present in the T only. Suppose length of T. So how many elements are present in T? 5 elements. So 6 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 elements are there. But look at here, max of T I'm applying. What is the maximum value in this tuple? It will give error, sir. Look at here. We have a combination of string and integer. So look at here. We are finding max. So that's what the operator will represent what? Greater than. Greater than not supported between instances means integer and string. So integer string combination, it will not work. So to find the max, min, sum, average like this, compulsory integer values or float values might be required. But these are all number system. In this number system, we can apply max function. Max of T is what? 40. At the same time, we can apply what actually? Minimum of T was minimum of T. So let's try to run minimum of T. Minimum of T is what? 10 only. So you can find minimum and maximum values with only digits like integer format or float format, number system. But when we include string or character value here, it will not find, because it's unable to find which is the maximum value like this. So max means to get maximum value, minimum means to get minimum value, and sum means sum of the values. But all the values, all the elements which are present in my tuple, it will going to be add. Sum of T means 23.5 plus 10, 30, 3.5 plus 20, 50, 3.5 plus 30 like this. It's keep on like this, 133.5 only here. So minimum max of T is what? 40. Minimum of T is what? 10. Sum of T is 133.5 only. And even you can have that what we can say max min sum length only. Yeah. But sum, while doing sum, we got the result is 133.3. But while doing sum, we can add or subtract any value also. For example, 67 number I'm adding. So this 67 number is going to add it to this 133.5. So after 133.5, 67 added, then 200.5. So this is optional value. You can, if you want, you can add it. If you want, you can subtract it also. Original value is 133.5, but we are subtracting minus 67. Now you can see 66.5. So you can do that separate value also while doing some operation here. And now we have seen in my previous examples how to convert a simple data type to another data type, like int to float I convert, float to int I convert. So this is basic conversion specification or typecasting, we can say that. But at this moment, I want to show you how to convert a one data structures to another data structure. For example, right now, I have a string data structure. That string data structure, I would like to convert into tuple format. Yes, we can do it. How we converted from string to integer, integer to string, like integer to float, float to integer, same like one data structures to another data structure, we can do. String to tuple, I want to convert. How to convert string to tuple? Let's try to create a string first. S equals to Durgasoft like this. Print S. Print S. Okay. Print what actually? Type of S. Type of S. What type it is? String type. But I would like to convert this string into what for? Tuple type. To convert this, what we can do? T equals to tuple of S only. Tuple, this is just wait a minute. Tuple of S. And print T. Then print what? Type of T only. So it's converted or not, you have to cross verify. So S is Durgasoft, it's a string. We are printing S, type of S string, and this S I am converting into tuple, and it will store into finally T, print T, type of T only. So let's look into this. All are correct or not? Yes. So we can see we created a string that is Durgasoft. Okay, and that is treated as string only. String is converted into tuple format. Print T, print type of T, not tuple of T. What type it is? Tuple type only. Just observe it, tuple of T. This is string, and it's converted into tuple format. At the same time, we can do it any type to any type. For example, converting a list into tuple. We can convert from list into tuples clearly. So let's create a list object here. L equals to my list object is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 list. But this list I'm printing as this list. List I'm printing here. Just observe here. L is a list. And this list I'm getting type. What type it is? List type only. Look at here. I'm taking list type only. This list I'm converting into what? Tuple. And let's run this. Now you can see we got this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Type of L. List type. And this type is converted into tuple format. So tuple format, and we are type of T only, tuple clearly here. This is the case actually. The list type, and this is what? Tuple type. So we can convert from one data type to another data type, and one data structures to another data structure also. Similarly, we can do with tuple packing and unpacking is there. Packing, unpacking, we can do with list also. And even then we have tuple packing, unpacking also there. Packing means, look at here. Suppose you have a box like this. Okay, one box is there. And items are outside available here. Some items are outside available here. These are the items you can consider. Multiple items are there. These items I'm storing into this box. This mechanism is what mechanism? Packing mechanism. So these all items are going to store into one box. This is called packing. Where we are packing tuple T. This is packing mechanism. Let's erase it all. Now coming to this unpack. Unpack means what? Already we have a box. Box is having some items. These items are going to be extract, and we are assigning to one by one variable. This item assigned into A, this item assigned into B, This item assigned to C, this item assigned to D only. This is unpack. Unpack means values are coming from tuple and assign them into individual variable. Pack means what? The values are coming outside and goes to into tuple object. That is box. So let's see this practical implementation here. Okay. Tuple packing and unpacking, how it will be. So I'm considering this A equals to 10. These are individual variable values are B equals to 20, C equals to 30. This is 30 values. How many variables I created? Three variables. How many values are there? Three values. But these three values I want to assign to tuple object. So how to assign A, B, C? We are printing T only, finally. T. What type it is? Tuple type, obviously. What type it is? Tuple type. Now you can say type of T only. It's a tuple type. We are assigning a value to the variables. This is individual variables assignment. This variables values I'm assigning to tuple object. That is T is called what? Tuple only. Tuple creation is over. This is packing. We are packing this 10 value, 20 value, 30 value into where? Tuple object packing is. Unpacking means what? Already have a tuple and we can able to extract from the tuple. Suppose T is my tuple object. It's having values like 10, 20, 30. These tuple objects values I'm assigning to individual variables. A, B, C equals to what actually T, and print A, okay, print A. This is just description, colon A only, or else comma A. Print B, comma B, print C, comma C only. So we are printing like this. Let's run this. We are unpacking here. Unpacking means what? We are getting the values from tuple and T is right hand side. Right hand side means always it will be assigned to the left hand side. Left hand side, what variables are there? A, B, C variables are there for taking from tuple values only. This is unpacking mechanism. Unpacking is the process of collecting the values from tuple and assign them into individual variables. And packing means we are collecting the values from individual variables and assigning them to the tuple object. This is called pack. Pack means values will be packed into tuple. Unpack means values are coming from tuple and assign them into individual variables. So this is overall tuple functionality clearly. Tuple and list is almost same. There is no much more changes. Only the difference between tuple and list is mutable object. At any point of time we can change it, but tuple is immutable object. We can't change tuple values at all. And tuple can be created by using round brackets. That's are optional. Brackets are optional. If you don't include any brackets by default, that is treated as tuple. But list is compulsory. We have to create using square brackets only. And tuple creation with one element is somewhat different. After element, you should give compulsory. That is what comma symbol. Then only it will create tuple. Otherwise, not. So this is about tuple and list discussion today. And tomorrow we'll go for set and dictionary. After completion of this data structures, we have to go for bytes. Byte are a frozen set. Once we complete, we will start with functional oriented programming language of Python. So that we'll discuss in next session clearly. That's all. So if you have any question, you can feel free to ask me now. So then tomorrow we'll see that. Okay.